What a scorcher. The southeast seared, records broken, and it's building towards more monster storms. Power's still out for thousands of homes on the Gold Coast. Chaos on the road as officers take control of traffic. The wreck of the Boxing Day boating tragedy salvaged. The victims' frantic last messages revealed. Rafa returns to Brisbane and tennis. Thrilling crowds in the Queen Street Mall. Captain Cummins leads the way again as Australia takes the Boxing Day test and the series. And Bluey's back on stage at QPAC. We have your first look.
Live from Brisbane, 7 News with Kendall Gilding.
Good evening. If you thought yesterday was bad, today was even worse. The southeast has again sweltered through heatwave conditions, topping yesterday's temperatures to break records. It was the CBD's hottest day in 4 years. Now we're being warned of more destructive storms this weekend.
A blistering orange sunrise above Brisbane, the sign of what was coming on the hottest day of the year.
It's like really hot at Brisbane. We kind of escaped here to get away from the heat.
Hundreds flocking to both the Gold and Sunshine Coasts for a dip. Mooloolaba Beach packed in the water and on the sand.
We thought it was going to be a bit stormier, but it's turned out pretty good. A little bit hot.
Those stuck in the city did anything they could to stay cool.
It's been a really busy couple of days with the warm weather. We're close to capacity here. We've got lots of people coming and trying their first ice bath.
Ice baths at Red Hill are more pleasant, 5.5 degrees.
The best air conditioning system you could ever buy, so and you stay cold and invigorated for hours afterwards.
Doing your first ice bath in the hot weather is definitely less intimidating.
A pair of skates more appealing than ever. Boondall's Ice World packed with more than 600 people today.
Oh, it's a little bit chilly in here, I won't lie. I would not know what the temperature is, probably like 4 degrees negative maybe.
Way out west, far from any winter wonderland, Birdsville copped it worst.
Very quiet out here, very hot. We can see the bitumen's going to start to melt.
It was one of the hottest spots across the state, reaching 46 degrees. Mount Isa and Winton both blistered at 44 and 45. Charleville hit a sweltering 40 degrees. In the southeast, Nambour reached 36, Gatton 37, Greenbank 38 and Brisbane 2 topped out in the high 30s.
With the heat and high humidity, severe storms are set to make a return this weekend. An alert for destructive winds, giant hail and intense rainfall has been issued for the southeast, similar to what we saw on Christmas Day.
Where we see these yellow, orange and red shades is where we see the most energy and the highest likelihood of severe thunderstorms.
The already battered Gold Coast is in the red zone, raising concerns for the city's council.
Potentially, the winds can be up to 125 kilometres per hour.
It's not only those without power, it's those that have sustained damage that still haven't been repaired.
Who hopefully won't be in the firing line. Anna McGraw, 7 News.
To Jordan Quinn in Nerang. Jordan, there are places for people to go if they're concerned about tomorrow's storms.
Kendall, there are now 5 of these community recovery centres set up across the Gold Coast where locals still without power can come and charge their phones in air conditioning to escape the elements. But there are fears this severe storm predicted for tomorrow could cause further problems for residents, with many homes still damaged. Energex is warning the storm could mean some delays to repair works or could even cause more outages.
We'll face whatever Mother Nature throws at us and just do our best.
More of these recovery hubs could be set up over the weekend.
Jordan Quinn reporting live. Now let's bring in Deputy Commissioner D. Taylor Dutton from the Queensland Ambulance Service. How busy have you been today?
Hi Kendall, it's been incredibly busy over the last couple of days. We've been taking about an extra 600 000 calls each day across Queensland in the last couple, and we're certainly expecting our demand will continue into next week. With these temperatures, our demand doesn't reduce for a couple of weeks after these sort of temperatures.
What is your advice during this heat wave?
I think keep in touch with the Bureau of Meteorology. Be ready to amend your plans accordingly. Try to stay out of the sun, of course, and any of the storms. If there's any way you can get into shade, cool areas, slip, slop, slap, keep hydrated and be on the lookout for those that are vulnerable in our community, the young, the elderly, those with existing medical conditions. And if you see any signs of dehydration, please reach out either to 13 Health, where a nurse will be able to provide you with good advice, but in an emergency, please call 000.
Plenty of good advice there. Deputy Commissioner, thank you so much for your time tonight. Well, now to Tony Auden, and some good news, a cooler change is on the way.
Yes, Kendall, and it can't come a moment too soon. After another steamy night tonight, we have a couple of reasons to cool down tomorrow. The first, a weak southeast wind change. That should reach the Gold Coast in the morning, then push right across the region by Sunday. That will bring a few days of cooler conditions right across the region, but combined with a mix of rain and storms forecast for tomorrow, it could drop temperatures well back into the 20s, especially into the late afternoon over southern spots. Now, the cooler change could also affect those storms. While all areas should keep a close watch tomorrow, the biggest cells are most likely in that hot and humid air ahead of the change. That is most likely from Brisbane up towards the Sunshine Coast. A big day ahead. Kendall, I'll be back soon with the forecast.
Back from holidays, Tony, and not a moment too soon. Well, more than 18,000 homes and businesses on the Gold Coast are still without power 4 days after the savage Christmas storm. As locals prepare for more wild weather, police are pleading for patience as they work to keep traffic moving at major intersections with no electricity.
Traffic duty in a heat wave. The Gold Coast Thin Blue Line is being stretched, not fighting crime, just keeping Queensland's tourist capital moving. At exit 57, Oxenford's Diamond Interchange, it takes 6 police to move vehicles through the intersection.
2 officers on standby, recuperating, rehydrating in a police vehicle in air conditioning so that they can go and rotate through that intersection.
There are still 22 sets of lights out of action and navigating through is dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
The power outage has forced police to close their Coomera station, and with so many officers on traffic control, specialist detectives have had to change roles.
Detectives attending routine calls for service, which is a little unusual.
On Tamborine Mountain, locals have been told not to expect power for at least 2 weeks. The entire network was destroyed and will need to be rebuilt. Studio K Rainforest Spa now has generators to power their popular hinterland rainforest retreat. Owner Bernie Kavanagh is confident the tourists will soon return.
It won't be about making money in the foreseeable future, but more servicing the bookings that we have and helping our staff who rely on this work to be able to come to work.
Ross Churchill had to cut a hole in his neighbour's fence after a fallen tree trapped his family in their home for several days.
I went, wow, this is much worse than I thought.
The hum of generators continues in Benogan. Without power, septic tanks are beginning to overflow.
If it's not working, then it's untreated effluent getting into the other side.
With so much work ahead of the Energex teams, some locals have taken matters into their own hands, attempting to reconnect the power on their own.
You can be zapped and die. There's already enough disaster without power and things like that. Don't add more heartache.
In a city already besieged by disaster. On the Gold Coast, Steve Titmus, 7 News.
Police have salvaged a boat that capsized in Moreton Bay with 11 people on board. 3 people were killed in the Boxing Day accident. Tonight, family have revealed one victim's frantic last messages.
The wreck of a Boxing Day tragedy salvaged.